So my family has a tradition that goes back a long time, centuries in fact. It used to be a common thing historically in our country for a woman, when she wed, to bring a bottom drawer that had all her bedding, linen and clothes, etc., in addition to the dowry her father would give her husband. The women of my family would use the bottom drawer to secure the woman's future. After the engagement was announced, all the women in the family would gather together and make her a quilt. Within each section of the quilt, a family member would hide some money, jewelry, seeds, or anything that could help in the future in case the woman needed to escape an abusive husband or they fell on hard times. Despite it not really being needed now, my family still continues this tradition as a symbolic way of taking care of the daughters of our family. My brother recently got engaged to his long-term girlfriend. She has no family she's close to, so after a discussion, it was decided we'd make her a quilt too, to fully welcome her into the family. We planned out an engagement party for her and explained the tradition and how during the engagement party, all the women of the family and she would be doing this together. She found it funny, made some scathing remarks about the whole thing and how old-fashioned it was, and called it weird. This upset quite a few of us, myself included. In the end, we called it off and decided not to make the quilt. She got upset that she wouldn't get a party and said how she still wanted the gift, so in the end, I sent her a toaster from Amazon, saying I hoped it was modern enough for her. I'd originally been planning to hide £300 in my square. A bit petty, I'll admit, but I don't see why I should give the big gift for her alone as an engagement gift if she's going to be disrespectful. I plan to save my money for the actual wedding gift, which will be for both of them. She's now upset as a few other relatives have done similar to me and sent cheaper gifts or no gifts at all, and has complained to my brother that the family's women are being mean to her. He's embarrassed by how she acted toward a kind gesture from the family, but tried to mediate by saying it would seem odd to anyone not from our family. Am I the idiot here? Am I too petty? That is one of the nicest family gifts and gestures I've ever heard of. I love to sew and this would be amazing. What a perfect way to get to know your new in-laws. Can I be part of your family, OP? I don't want the gifts, but I would be tickled with every shade of pink to spend time quilting with family. Oh, and no, you're not the idiot at all. I would do the same, maybe. I don't know if I would have bothered to get her anything personal. A lot of old-fashioned traditions are just weird and irrelevant in this day and age, but not this one. It's so sweet and practical and kind and real. I'm so sorry she turned up her nose at such a kind welcome. The dollar amount isn't the issue here. Something like that means a lot. You're not being petty. You're giving her exactly what she felt she was worth. Heck, maybe your brother needs the emergency escape quilt. Everyone's the idiot here. I would find it disconcerting to receive a wedding gift based around being abused or falling on hard times. Is that the expectation of your brother? That he will abuse her or make her destitute? It feels like a really bad omen. That said, many others seem to like the idea, so I suppose it's an individual opinion like any other gift. This is why I think it's not right to get your nose all out of joint when someone doesn't like the thing you intend to give them without knowing that they want it. A gift is about the recipient, not the giver. I had the same thought. Everyone is saying what an amazing, thoughtful gift it is. I don't think it's amazing or thoughtful to have the assumption that my new husband is going to abuse me. Like, oh, this is so sweet. I'd be so thrilled and touched if my soon-to-be mother-in-law sewed a nail file into a quilt in case I needed to saw my way out of handcuffs to escape her abusive son. Jesus, I'd be very put off by that idea, and it would make me question what the heck goes on within this family. My boyfriend has been going through a divorce for the last 6 months. It would be over already, but his ex-wife won't agree to what he's offering her, even though he's being more than generous, considering they were only married for 2 years and the bulk of what they have is because of what he had pre-marriage or what his family helped them buy. On top of that, he pays for everything right now, and she's just spending his money like it's unlimited on stupid stuff like luxury vacations. It bothers me because we're expecting. I feel like she's trying to sabotage our financial future and uses her son as an excuse so nobody calls her out. Unfortunately, his family has loved her since they started dating as teens. They asked my boyfriend about her in front of me because she's not responded to them, and they want to see the son. The conversation turned to the divorce, and his dad scolded him and told him not to make it hard on her, even though my boyfriend has done everything to make it easy for her. I wanted to defend him, so I mentioned how my boyfriend has been kind to her, and she's money hungry, which is why she isn't making it easy for him. The mood immediately changed, and his family was giving me rude looks. They all think she isn't like that, but she's just good at playing the victim around people. They defended her, so I defended my boyfriend, but he told me to stop. Now he's mad at me since whenever I say anything bad about her, they start giving him a lot of crap. He told me not to speak about her ever again, especially not in front of his family, and I overheard his sister saying she couldn't believe he was still with me while on the phone with my boyfriend after this happened. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You say our future as if his money is already yours, and yet you're accusing the ex of being money hungry. These talks should be between him and his lawyer, not you. And for your information, his parents asking to see their grandkids and talking to their sons about it is normal. If you can't handle it now, you're in for a long, hard life. Don't get pregnant with a man that is not even divorced if you don't want to deal with the divorce. It's as simple as that. An OP says they were only married 2 years, but within 6 months of dating, it's totally a good idea for her to get pregnant. I feel like a giant eye roll should have been added. Geez, girl, he ain't a quality guy if he isn't even divorced before getting the next one pregnant. What they say, let the ink dry first on the divorce papers. Or she's been dating him for longer than they've been going through a divorce. I smell a home wrecker. Oh, honey, even if you upgraded yourself to the girlfriend status, you'd have zero say in his money. She is still the wife with probably sound custody of his son. Let him get divorced, get married, and then you can go back in the talk. I agree. Let me come home, wreck your family, and then get mad. I can't just have everything. So they've just decided to divorce in the last 6 months, and boom, here you are pregnant. Think I found the reason for the divorce. And she has a kid with him. You sound jealous and bitter. I hope she takes him for all he's got. LMAO. If my spouse and father of my child cheated on me and got the affair partner pregnant, I would absolutely take luxury vacations on their dime and get as much out of the divorce as possible. In the words of Lucille Bluth, good for her. I genuinely feel torn about this, and I would accept whatever verdict I get. I'm using throwaway and fake names for obvious reasons. I, 35 male, have been best friends with Harry, 35 male, all through my childhood, and got to know his younger sister Melanie, 33, over the years. We were never close, but always polite and friendly. I'm still very close to Harry's family, so I know his sister Melanie is married to a woman, Anna, 30, and has a son, kindergartner. I recently started working as an RN in the same hospital as Melanie. She was and always has been polite and friendly. Due to us being close, a few co-workers asked me where I knew her from because apparently she's usually much more formal with people. I explained, and also mentioned that I was even at her wedding and she was in mine, as in that's how close we are. Then they asked what her husband did for a living, and I said her wife was an interior designer. Melanie later pulled me aside and asked me not to share any details about her at work. I was genuinely surprised because I didn't share anything personal. She explained that as a girly-looking orthopedic surgeon, she's already behind all of the old men she works with by a long shot, and that knowing about her orientation will make her work life only about being teased and joked about by those jerks. I said if she thought this would be a big problem, she should have warned me beforehand and I would absolutely not mention anything. It's especially weird because she's been married for 10 years and has a kid. She said she just expected me to know her better after 25 years but was sadly disappointed. I'm still trying to figure out what I did here. I had no idea. My co-workers are mostly nice people. Most of them are on my side, but some think I shouldn't have talked about Melanie at all. Was I indeed the idiot? You are the idiot. Am I reading this right? You shared her orientation? That's incredibly personal. Most of them are on my side, but some think I shouldn't have talked about Melanie at all. After she had already asked you not to talk about her, you went back to all your colleagues and discussed the conversation with them to get their opinion? Are you still talking about her? Exactly. Further outing her to multiple people after he was directly asked not to, and framing himself as the victim to boot. OP, you outed Melanie to one co-worker, and now apparently many, if not all of your co-workers are gossiping about her lifestyle. You are too old to pretend to be naive about what happens if you out someone. Dude, you messed up. Then compounded your mistake by discussing the matter of her orientation behind her back with other people whose opinions of her being out or not do not matter at all. Just like your opinion of her choice to reveal or not to reveal doesn't matter at all. That choice is hers and none of your business. Get a clue. buy a vowel or perhaps just stop talking. Still, you clearly can't hear yourself, so I suspect you'll keep running your mouth about other people's business. I'm a recently new homeowner who moved into my home last year. My driveway is gravel, and if you're not familiar with gravel driveways, during the spring and summer months you have to spray them regularly with grass killer to keep your driveway from becoming an extension of your lawn. I've been doing this about weekly since I moved in, and it's been keeping my driveway in good condition. I noticed immediately when I moved in that the neighbourhood kids would use my driveway as a cut-through to get to their friends' houses. My driveway backs up to another neighbour's backyard on another street, and it's essentially a shortcut. I have no issue with the kids doing this, but I was a bit peeved that the parents didn't even ask me when I moved in as a courtesy. It's clear they've been doing this for a while with the previous owners, but it would have been respectful of them to make sure it's okay with me to continue. But whatever, no harm, no foul. Until today. I sprayed my driveway as usual early this afternoon. As I was finishing up, the kids cut through. I stopped spraying while they were there, waved hello, and resumed once they cleared the area. Thought that was the end of it, but I just got off the phone with a very angry mother of one of the kids. She told me I had no right to be spraying my driveway with harsh chemicals when there were children in the vicinity. I told her I've been doing this for nearly a year now and I must maintain my property. I respectfully and politely informed her that if she has an issue with her kids being exposed to the chemicals, then they can find another way to their friend's house that does not involve cutting through my driveway. That is when she really doubled down and dared to tell me that her kids have been using my driveway as a cut-through for much longer than I've lived in the home, and I have no right to come in and change the status quo. I then said that I have no issue with her kids using the driveway, but unless she wants to purchase the home from me and start paying my mortgage, she has no right to tell me what I can and cannot spray on my driveway, then hung up. I fear I've now made an enemy of my neighbours and it's about to get worse, and I regret not simply apologising and sucking it up. So, am I the idiot for spraying my driveway and refusing to stop when asked by a neighbour? And now you know why the last owner sold. Not the idiot, but if one of those kids slips and hurts themselves on your property, you could face legal problems. This woman seems to be the kind who would take you to court over this. Put up a fence so no one can cut through the yard. Good fences make good neighbours. Suburban moms are crazy. It's weed killer, not child killer, and it's your driveway. Maybe you made an enemy, but she sounds like the kind of person who the only way to be friends with them is complete capitulation to all their ridiculous views and whims. Given how unreasonable she's being, there is a fair chance she's a known issue in the neighbourhood. I want to clarify my aunt has no food allergies or has any reason to be on a diet. She said she diets out of her choice with no dietary reasons or religious reasons. My family was planning a whole dinner as we have not had one for a while ever since the start of the global issue, the sickness of both my grandparents and my grandfather's death last year. I've just recently moved into our own home with my wife, and because of it, our family decided I should host the dinner. We willingly accepted and were both super excited about it. This dinner would be the first big family dinner without our grandfather, who was a big pillar in our family, so it was extra special. My wife is also pregnant, and we were hoping to tell them at the dinner. On the day of the dinner, we decided to do a big barbecue. We handled the barbecue meats and some sides while our families would bring desserts and sides or come help us cook. We had a large group chat with all my family where we spoke about what each of us was making and bringing before the day of the dinner. My aunt had kept it a secret as many of my other family members did, which was fine as we all quite love a secret cake. Everyone had arrived, minus my aunt. She was normally late, but we didn't want to eat cold food. We set out the table and let the kids start eating slowly and waited on my aunt. Eventually, she did come half an hour after the time to be here. Most of the family had just started to eat. When she arrived, immediately there was tension. She complained that I'd made barbecue as she was now vegan. Mind you, the barbecue was not a secret. I made it clear what we were having. Then she began to complain about the food other people had brought as they were not vegan friendly, minus some salad. She then began to berate me for my selfishness in not accommodating her and said this was a hate crime against her and her lifestyle. It annoyed many of us who had waited for her, especially my poor grandmother who just wanted our family to be civil. She normally causes quite a lot of trouble at these things, but with how significant this dinner was, I'd hoped she would not make a big deal out of this. I really couldn't believe she pulled out the minority card for being vegan, so I just ended it and ushered her to the door so we could at least talk. Her ex-husband went after me and was there to help me. I told her plainly that she never warned us and she knew the plans and had no right to be upset. Then I said it would be best if she left. She was shocked, as this was one of the first times anyone of our family fought back so aggressively. She left, but not without shouting at how ungrateful and selfish we all were. Am I the idiot for kicking her out? I could tell my grandma was upset, and my mom pulled me aside after dinner and told me I was out of line for disrespecting an elder. Edit, she flips between diets frequently. She recently went gluten-free but made a big display of ending her gluten-free diet by making bread and posting about how she was cleansed and could eat bread again. Not providing vegan food for someone you didn't know was vegan, who had been told that the dinner was a barbecue, then showed up late whining that their unknown dietary preferences were not accommodated, was a hate crime? Tell her your crystal ball was in the shop and you're sorry you couldn't predict her next fad diet. Not the idiot, obviously. Even if you had known, you wouldn't have been obligated to change your planned menu, though it would have been kind to reach out and ask if she'd like you to pick up a pack of vegan burgers or hot dogs to grill for her on a separate grill mat or microwave, depending on how strict she was. Sounds like she's someone who loves to have people dance to her. I'm so sick of entitled people acting like they deserve every demand to be met, with or without notice. Your aunt may be your elder, but she acted like a child. You do not have to accommodate temper tantrums. She did it on purpose to make a scene, and she waited an extra half hour to arrive to ensure everyone saw her explosion. Unfortunately, she's not used to people standing up to her, and you put her in her place. Who cares what anyone else thinks? Keep standing up to the squeaky wheel because she's used to running roughshod over the family.